The shirt is off the cuff. Welcome back. All right. So good to be back, as always. I know I say the same thing every time, but I mean it each and every single time. Welcome back to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. I am your host, Joe the Shirt, not Esquire. Now, before I even jump into anything that's going on today, let me introduce to you today's musical program being brought to you by the band known as Spit at Stars. Yes, that's right, Spit at Stars. With their first song, Nightmare Before Winter. A little on the eerie side, but nice. Also like to let you know what today's date is. Today, of course, being May 11th, the year of our Lord, 2015. Of course, you all know I don't believe in the Lord, but hey, there you go. And before I move on to any of today's topics, let me give you some celebrity birthdays from a couple of days ago. I'm going to try to fill these in whenever I can, because some of these are fun. If your birthday was on May 8th, okay, it's last week, you share that birthday with Enrique Iglesias, son of the one and only Julio Iglesias. Stephen Amell is 34 years old. You may better know him as the Green Arrow on the TV show Arrow. Melissa Gilbert from Little House on the Prairie is 51 years old. Funny man, insult comic Don Rickles is 89 years old. And Elias Gabel is 32 years old. You may know him as the star of the TV show Scorpion. All right. And we'll be doing more birthdays as we go along, but I'm trying to catch up to everything, okay? Welcome back. Yesterday was Mother's Day? It was? Really? I didn't notice. No. Of course I noticed. I always notice when it's Mother's Day because I don't do anything. And I know you're thinking, Jesus, Joe, we all know you're a son of a bitch, but God damn it. She couldn't have been that much of a bitch. And the truth is, no, she wasn't. My mother's a perfectly lovely woman. I love her dearly. But as I've stated many, many times, my mother's also a Jehovah's Witness. And Jehovah's Witnesses, as you know, do not celebrate holidays. Okay, especially not any secular ones like Mother's Day, which is not rooted in any religious root there. It's no religious origin there. It was actually begun, the American Mother's Day, for those of you who don't know, was begun by one Anna Jarvis in 1908 to commemorate, the passing of her mother. And then she went about, trying to get it a federally mandated, holiday that we know today as Mother's Day. Now, there are plenty of other mother celebrations around the world, but this one that we celebrate here is distinctly American origins. Anna Jarvis, 1908. For those of you who might want to have a little trivia to add to your day, there you have it. And like I said, my mother is a Jehovah's Witness, so I don't get her anything for Mother's Day. I don't call her for Mother's Day. I don't get her a gift. I don't send her flowers. None of that bullshit, because by her own admission, and she'll be the first one to tell you this, by her own admission, she will let you know that it's against her religion to celebrate these holidays. And for me to call her on Mother's Day to send her flowers or a gift that's me being disrespectful to her religion. And as you all know, I'm very disrespectful to everybody's religion, but more often than not, I avoid doing it to people's face. Okay, I'm not a fan of getting in somebody's face and telling them how terrible the way they do things are. Okay, I'd rather opine from the safety of my microphone here. I'd like to, if somebody wants to discuss something with me, I'm more than happy to do it. But I'm not one to go out of my way and insult people about their religious beliefs. Everybody's got them, most people do. Atheists don't, obviously. Agnostics most likely don't, maybe. But, it's just one of those things. I as much as I hate religion in all of its forms, and a lot of the crap that it stands for, and its archaic view of morality, I do realize that it gives people like my mother a great deal of comfort if she believes that, God is going to, look out for her, in the next life. And it gives her comfort to know that. It gives her comfort to go to Kingdom Hall and associate with her Kingdom Hall, members there. Then great, good for her. I'm glad that she gives her some peace, some happiness. It's also a social outlet for her, and I think it's fantastic. And which is why I refuse to insult her, okay, by calling her on Mother's Day. And what's really funny is that I posted my opinions on this yesterday on Facebook. I did. I posted about how today's Mother's Day, and of course I won't be doing anything. Won't be sending her any flowers or gifts or even calling her because it's Mother's Day. Okay, she's a Jehovah's Witness, so it's against religion. And my little tag at the end of that is like, good. Finally, her being a Jehovah's Witness works in my favor. I don't have to get a shit. And the same holds true for her birthday, for Christmas, for Easter. I don't do none of that shit, because she didn't do any of that shit for me when I was a kid, from the age of 8 on and up, As my old joke is, there's nothing like being 8 years old and suddenly suicidal, because all the fun holidays as a kid were just, stripped away from me. I enjoyed them up until the age of 8. And then my mother said, okay, now we're Jehovah's Witnesses. We don't celebrate Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, Halloween, Thanksgiving, or your birthday. So I was a little bitter. Now, mind you, despite all that, I'm not bitter about I'm not really bitter about the holiday. I'm really not. If my mother told me that she was gonna stop being a Jehovah's Witness and was happy to celebrate any and all secular as well as religious and government holidays, I'd be more than happy to call her on Mother's Day and wish her a happy Mother's Day and send her some flowers and whatnot. I'd do it, absolutely. But I'm not gonna do it now. And then yet my sisters and my cousins gave me shit about it. You can look at my Facebook account. It's Joseph Negron. Facebook made me change it, those bastards, from inappropriate conversation, but that's okay. But they were giving me shit. My sisters are telling you better call her. You better call her. You better give her a call. She's sitting right next to me reading all the shit you're writing, and I was like, good. I'm glad she is. She's got a better sense of humor than the bunch of you anyway. My mama's got a great sense of humor, and she knows that when I wrote shit like that I'm just trying to fuck with her. I don't know. Is it just me, or do we really need to have an official holiday to honor and love and appreciate your mother? No, you don't. I'm a bad son. I'm one of those kids. I don't like talking to people on the phone. I really don't. I avoid it whenever I can. If a phone call comes in, even if you're a good friend of mine contemplating suicide, there's a really good chance I'm not going to answer because I don't like talking on the phone. Which is funny because I know I love to talk, but on the phone it just seems rather impersonal. So either you be absolutely fascinating, or I'm just going to ignore your call. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it works for me. But I love my mom, my mother, Zoraida. That's her name. Okay, you're not going to meet too many women on the planet named Zoraida. Okay, it's a distinctly Puerto Rican kind of name, very Latino. I think I've met maybe one other Zoraida ever in my entire life, And I saw what the best part is I saw that name once mentioned in in this comic strip called Leo, wherein a bunch of witches are standing around a cauldron, and there's a kid in the cauldron that they're cooking, and then there's a banner above them that says, "Happy birthday, Zoraida." One of the witches was named Zoraida, so I always thought that was fucking hysterical. I'm going to see if I can find that, actually, make a printout for my mother, send that to her. What else we got going on? Let's see. Besides, we have a birth in the news. Charlotte Elizabeth Diana is the newest member of the royal family, the new baby of Prince William and Catherine, also known as the newest member of the world's richest welfare recipients. Okay, fuck the royal family. Okay. I've got nothing against the Brits. I've had British friends before. I've got nothing against the royal family per se, but I just find it incredible that they continue to perpetuate the system in England where they pay for these people. You know, they really have nothing to do with the day-to-day running of British government. Okay, I mean, they can throw their support to one party or the other, and they are used in a ceremonial way to sign certain documents, you know. But realistically, they have no power, you know, other than whatever money and prestige that they're afforded to by the people, okay? And what's really amazing to me is that so many British people I know could give a fuck less about the royal family. That's right, Brendan Collins. I'm talking about you. On more than one occasion, I've heard my friend Chef Brendan Collins go, "Fuck them," you know. So, and use a few other words that I couldn't make understand. This goddamn British man, learn to fucking speak English. Jesus. It's true. Yes, one Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, world's newest member of the world's richest welfare family. Good to have you here, kid. Yeah. Before we take our first break, let's go through more celebrity birthdays from, say, May 9th. Okay, if your birthday was May 9th, you share that birthday with Amy Hill, who's 62 years old. Yeah, a lot of you may be wondering, well, who the fuck is Amy Hill? Okay, Amy Hill is, I believe, a Korean-American actress that you've seen her in a zillion TV shows and movies, always like a side character, a supporting character. Never the star, but you would know her immediately. Very funny lady. John Corbett is 54 years old. You may remember him from Northern Exposure and Sex and the City. And now he's, I think, shilling for insurance companies or is it like Walgreens or some shit like that. James L. Brooks of The Simpsons is 75 years old. Candace Bergen is 69. Rapper Ghostface Killah is 45 years old. The hot Rosario Dawson is 36 years old. And the one and only piano man himself, Billy Joel, is 66 years old. Sing me a song. You're the piano man. And what are we going to be talking about next after the break? We're going to be talking about just a little bit about American Idol. Just a little bit, okay? Not a lot, baby girl. Just a little bit. And now there's more music from Spit at Stars. Here's their next song, Junkie Song. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back.
I push the button tonight, and it isn't
show. The shirt is off the cuff, and he's back. Welcome back. What was I talking about? Oh, yes, I was talking about American Idol. Excuse me. Got a cock in my throat. I'm sorry, a frog. Excuse me. Yes, American Idol is what we're talking about, just for a little bit, all right? Because it's definitely not one of my favorite topics on the planet. Definitely not a show that I've never watched a single episode of American Idol. Not one. Okay, I've caught bits and pieces of it only because somebody else in the room wanted to watch it, you know, or they were watching it and I was like just trying to go through, or maybe it would be somebody like my girlfriend going, "Oh, baby, you got to catch this, you got to see this," and I'll be like, "I really don't," but you know. Well, the news is finally in. It's been canceled. Yay! Woo! Yay! Happy days are here again. Ding dong, the bitch is dead. The bitch is dead. The bitch is dead. Ding dong, the wicked bitch J-Ho is dead. No. Yes. It came through the wire, I think just yesterday, that the American Idol is no more after this season, which I think means that it completed like 16 seasons, you know, or it has like one more season to go after the current one. Yeah, but it's like one season and then it's done, you know, and I could not be happier because I never fucking understood the whole point of the fucking show, all right? I really didn't. It just seems so incredibly contrived to me, you know. The idea that, you know, you will become this super famous, loved, you know, star, singing sensation, you know, all because you appear on this TV show. Like like winning the show guarantees you'll be, you know, a music icon. You'll be an idol, you know. And honestly, I can't think of more than maybe one or two people that have won the show. To be perfectly, was it Clay Aiken? I think is one, right? I don't know. I think I had another one in my Kelly Clarkson. Is that another one? I think it is. After that, I got nothing. I'm telling you right now, I got nothing. All right. I said just not something I watched or cared for. I always thought it was just this incredibly ridiculous, you know, way of, you know. I look at it for what it really is, and that was just a form of entertainment. That's all it ever amounted to. It was never meant to, it was never to me a real viable, legitimate way of a singer or performer, you know, to really make a true name for themselves. Now, from what I understand, a lot of the people that have been on the show have gone on to do bigger and better things. Wait, wasn't another one? Black lady. She did a movie with Eddie Murphy where she was a singer, and she was like a heavier set black lady when she was first on the show, and then she lost a whole bunch of weight, you know. And so I know I saw that Dreamgirls. No, something, I don't know what, but something along those lines. And I did see that movie. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. And the girls got pipes, absolutely. And who knows? Maybe in some way or another, the show actually did give some people a legitimate chance to make it out there, to get themselves exposed and seen, and maybe, you know, develop a following, which I'm sure they do, you know. But you know, I just never got into it. I never did, you know. And I admire singing, honestly, for the true gift that it is. If you are a good singer, if you have that ability, that range, that star quality, that presence, that showmanship that it can make somebody a great singer, you know, a raw talent. Good for you. I mean, but you have to know that there's like thousands of people all over the country who are incredible singers, and are never ever going to get a recording contract. They're not even going to get a whiff of recording contracts, you know, much less appear on TV or in the movies. Okay. You know, that's these people, the ones that you do hear about from American Idol. Those are the exceptions to the rule, you know. And I've heard also that some of the people that lost on American Idol actually went on to bigger and better things, you know. But I never really saw it, to be perfectly honest with you, as that real big, you know, jumping off point towards a career in the music industry. Just like, you know, just like watching Star Search back in the, like, what was it, like the 80s, 90s? You know, it's like, I remember watching that show, but I only watched it for the stand-up comics, because that's what I was into, you know, and it was really great for me, you know, because I got to see, you know, performers back then like Dennis Miller and Sinbad, you know, performing on that show, even if it was only like, you know, the 3 or 4 minutes they gave them, you know, which was unfortunate, but it's interesting to see them from then and how they're doing these days, but you know, I'm just glad it's done with. Mind you, there's plenty of other shows already out there. Was it The Voice is one of them? You know, Dancing with the Stars is another one. You know, and all these other reality crap shows. You know, like The Amazing Race and Survivor and all those other shit shows that really should be gone and done. I mean, I'm just happy that finally, for the first time in, you know, almost 2 decades, you know, reality TV is finally taking a dip. It's finally on the downswing, and now we're seeing more and more scripted TV shows again, more dramas, more comedies, more high concept TV shows, you know, and just, you know, just, I mean, TV honestly has never been better because there is so much you can go to. And look, you know what? If you loved American Idol or Survivor or The Voice or whatever the fuck it is, you know, or any of my girlfriends cooking shows. The Russian, she loves cooking shows. It's a cooking show, she'll watch it, okay? You know, you know, from Chopped to Cutthroat Kitchen to or just anything, really. Just if there's a cooking show, she's watching it. You know, and if you get something out of that, great, good for you. You know, I think because when the big reality TV craze came along, we didn't have the multimedia access to everything else that we have these days, thanks to the internet, smart TVs, Netflix. The newer, more cable channels, the ability to TiVo stuff, which who uses the term TiVo anymore? You know, we have access through our phones, through our tablets, through our computers, TVs. I mean, we have access to so much stuff that people are able to make a greater variety of shows now that can be enjoyed by all types of people. And I'm fortunate enough, you know, to be in a situation with my girlfriend where we have, you know, at least we have 3 TVs in the house. We have 3 computers, a tablet, and both of our phones, which are Samsungs. And, you know, and we can get content that we want to watch, and that we don't have to watch shit together if we don't feel like it. If she wants to watch, you know, The Voice or Dancing with the Stars or any of her cooking shows, she can watch that until the Vapa Carajo cows come home. I don't care. Fine, I'll just be in the other room. I'll play video games or I'll watch one of my own shows. You know, but we have that ability now so that nobody is forced to watch just what, you know, what dad wants to watch. I don't know how old some of you guys are, but there was a time in American life where, actually in any life, at any culture's life that had television, where we watch what dad was watching, okay? You want to watch cartoons, you better watch it while dad's not around. You want to watch your soap operas, you better be watching it because dad's not around. Because as soon as dad walks in the fucking house, whatever he wants to watch is what we're watching. Be it the news, sports, or Matlock. That's what we're watching, okay? So kudos to technology for letting us watch whatever the fuck we want, regardless of how many TVs are in the house. I mean, you could be living in a house these days that has only one TV. I don't know what kind of, you know, caveman you are. They only have one TV in your house. But, but you know, you have a computer, boom, you can watch anything else you want. You have a phone, boom, you can watch whatever else you want. You got a tablet, boom. You know, you have options. you know. So I don't know. I guess I never really had anything very specific against American Idol, other than the fact that it just wasn't for me, you know. And watching these celebrities like J-Ho, you know, giving her opinion on what she thinks is slamming, you know, or that other fat guy was like, oh, that shit is jamming, dog, you know, all that bullshit. You know, getting their alleged, you know, expert professional opinions, what they think is, you know, going to be something that you want to listen to or bother with, you know. It's not me, man, not me. But there you go. Yes. And now for more celebrity birthdays. I know, right? Don't worry, we're almost to today. If you celebrated a birthday yesterday, May 10th, Mother's Day, thank you, Anna Jarvis. You celebrated that birthday with U2 frontman Bono, who turned 55 years old. And that's it for May 10th. Honestly, that's it. I looked. I found no other names like popped out at me. Like every other celebrity on that day was like a soccer player. And honestly, who gives a fuck about soccer players? You know, I mean, to be perfectly honest, if you're not a soccer player or come from a country that's heavily into soccer, and no, this country does not count as a country that's heavily into soccer. The United States is not into soccer. Fuck that noise. And mind you, it is the number one sport played in the United States by preteens. Believe it or not. Okay, not basketball, not hockey, not football, not baseball or softball. The number one after-school activity for preteens is, in fact, soccer. And if your birthday happens to be today, you celebrate that with one Jeffrey Donovan, who's 47 years old, and the one and only Louis Farrakhan, who is, I'm amazed, still alive, turns 82 years old today. Now, before I move on, I want to talk a little bit about, you know, after schools and stuff that you do with the kids. Something that happened Saturday, actually. I was driving for Lyft, which I do to help myself, you know, keep myself in the lifestyle that I've become accustomed to. That crack's not going to buy itself, folks. I was in the Valley here in Los Angeles. Now, for those of you who don't know, a quick lesson. I live in Los Angeles County, all right? In Los Angeles County, there are several smaller cities with their own mayors and everything, okay? I live in West Hollywood. Right next to me is Hollywood. Right next to me on the other side is Beverly Hills, okay? And that's how we cover the East and the West. You go north, you're going to North Hollywood, and then you're going over a hill. Literally, there's a big hill separating, Hollywood, Santa Monica, Venice, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills, separating us from what's over the side. That's where you get Burbank, okay? And all the other shitty-ass cities that I'm not going to bother to mention. But yes, there's a big separation of mountains. It's actually a mountain. They call it, you know, going over the hill, you know, into the valley, but it's actually a mountain that you go over and you go into these other neighborhoods. Okay. For that little geography lesson for you guys, okay? I was over the hill, and I called my buddy Dave Nystrom, very, very funny stand-up comic. You ever get a chance to catch him, please do. I think he's available on YouTube. Just look up Dave Nystrom. You'll find it. It's funny man. It was like 8:30 in the morning, and I wanted to have a cup of coffee. And I figured, well, shit, I'm here. I'm in Dave's neighborhood. Let me give him a call and see if he wants to have coffee with me. And I call him, and he doesn't answer, even though I know he's awake, because he has 4 children, okay? 4 boys. And there's no such thing as 4 boys letting dad sleep on the weekend. That doesn't happen, okay? He's got to be really, really drunk and hungover for that to happen. But he did call me back, and he asked me what was up, and I said, hey, I was in the neighborhood, want to know if you want to grab a cup of coffee. He's like, well, I can't meet you anywhere right now. I'm at my kid's Little League game. I'm one of the coaches. He's like, if you want, you come hang out here for a little bit, and he gives me the directions. I was actually like 2 minutes away. It was like I just turned the corner, drove 3 blocks, and boom, I was there. And I will tell you the rest of that story when we get back. Here's more by Spit at Stars. It's called Innocent Breathing. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm Off the Cuff, and I'll be right back. Joe the Shirt is off the cuff. All right. Okay. Spit at Stars. Their song, Innocent Breathing. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. What is going on? Okay. Well, I was telling you about being up over in the valley. Now you know what that is. And visiting my buddy Dave Nystrom. And I met him at the park, and sure enough, there he was. And I brought a couple of cups of coffee with me. Well, I brought a cup of coffee for Dave, black, plain, and I got myself a latte because I want to feel pretty and upscale, and I hung out with him for a little while. He was the first base coach, the Little League game, and it was a trip, man. It was funny. I think the age range of the kids was like somewhere between 5 and 7. That was the age range of the kids. So these are little kids, And I don't know if you've ever seen a TV show or a movie where they depict Little League games of the kids. Every stereotype you see in the movies and TV shows is true. It's 100% true, okay? Half the kids don't even want to be there. Most of them don't know what to do with a bat. They're doing this little twisty, swingy kind of thing. A couple of kids were more interested in the chalk that makes the lines around the bases than they were in the actual game. And yes, Dave, I'm talking about your kid Cruz. Him and another kid, they were studying that chalk. Another kid was just spinning around in place till he fell down dizzy. It was hysterical. And of course, there's no keeping score. There's no striking out. Every kid swings until he gets a hit. and after the 8th or 9th pitch, the kid misses. They bring out the tee, so they put the ball on there, let the kid hit from there, and then assuming that the ball gets hit and goes into the infield or the outfield. Every kid just runs around like a little retard. I swear to God, you remember those toys where it was like a electronic soccer or hockey where you'd have the little guys on the board and then you'd wind it up and it would just start to vibrate and the guys would just shake around and just going around in every direction. This is what these kids were doing. It was hysterical, and yes. A parent that was a member of each team was pitching to their own people. Okay, there was no us and them in this. Nobody's trying to strike out anybody. Okay, it was just hit the ball, run around, have fun, enjoy your juice boxes. Okay, and there was this one kid. I'm looking at it. I'm like, that kid is 6 my ass. He was huge. He was a beast. He was twice as big as any other kid there on both teams, And I told Dave, I think that kid's on PEJs, performance enhancing juice boxes, because he was a beast. Oh my God, he's huge. And they pitch the ball at him. The kid swings and almost takes the coach's head right off. I swear to God, the coach hit dirt. try to duck from the ball. It was hysterical. Oh my God, it was so funny. And I'm enjoying. I hung out with Dave and chatted with him because he really didn't need to pay attention to the game at all. He could just, basically anytime a kid did something, it was always like, good job, way to go, yeah, great job, high five, yeah. And that was it. That was as much as coaching went, and they'd be like, okay, now run to second, no, second, no, run to second. It was just hysterical. It was fun to watch, I have to admit. But then I left because I started to feel a little angry because there I was, enjoying watching the kids play, right? And then it occurred to me that if I didn't know Dave, okay, if I was in front of Dave's and I was there because of Dave and I was just watching the game, just somebody that didn't know anybody else there, I stood a very good chance of having one or more parents at that game come up to me and then ask me what I was doing there, and possibly even have balls enough to ask me to leave, or even call the cops on me, because this is what we've come to, where look, I understand you want to protect your kids, absolutely, and if you see that there's a stranger around you that nobody knows, okay, you keep an eye on them. But in my opinion, it's a public park, okay? I don't know, as far as I know, there's no rule in this particular park that says that for you to be hanging out in the park, you have to have your own kid with you, okay? Which I think is bullshit anyway. But there are, by the way, parks and playground areas within a park that if you don't have a kid, you're not allowed in that area. Even though it's an open air area, no security or anything. But if you go there and hang out and you don't have a kid with you that's yours, preferably, they'll ask you to leave. And if you don't leave, they will call the cops on you, which I think is ridiculous to me. I mean, how do you know? Maybe I'm a baseball scout and I see a lot of talent in your kid. But it crossed my mind and it kind of pissed me off, because I was having a perfectly nice time just watching these kids. Dave couldn't talk to me that much because he was, in fact, there for the kids, but it occurred to me that, if I didn't know Dave, somebody could have made a stink about it. And I don't think that's right. I mean, yes, I understand you want to protect your kids. But that just means that when there's a stranger around, keep a better eye on your kid and keep an eye on the stranger. That's all. There's a story, I don't know if you heard of it, wherein it was on, I think, Yahoo, where this guy, a full-ass grown adult man, wanted to take a selfie of himself, with like a poster or a statue of Darth Vader. Okay. And he was taking it, so he was going to take it so he could send to his kid, who's 16 years old. And there were these other kids looking around, waiting to take a picture of the Darth Vader image. And the guy talks to the kids who are on the younger side. He says, like, hey, just give me a second. I just want to take this picture, send it to my 16-year-old. Okay. And, then he took the pictures. Now, apparently the mother of these two children saw this. And then it went and, like, after he left, went and grabbed her kids, went to security and reported him, and then went on social media. I don't know if it was like Facebook or something, but went on social media and reported this picture of this creep. She took his picture, by the way. She took a picture of him and listed him as some creep that was talking to my kids at the mall. He's probably a child molester or some shit like that, and then posted it, and then it was shared like something like 5,000 times, within just a couple of hours, and then the poor guy, I believe he was at his job where he got phone calls from his friends and told him, you better get on the computer, and he was like, what? It's like, well, there's a picture of you being portrayed as a potential child molester, and of course the guy did the right thing, for him at that point. He went to the police. He told them what happened. He explained himself. The guy was he was in his 50s, a longstanding member of the community, church activities, after school activities with his kids. Had never been in any trouble whatsoever, especially nothing to do with children. But, there was this woman, trying to destroy his reputation with no evidence whatsoever that he was doing anything wrong. And I know some people might think, well, it's better to be safe than sorry. No, fuck you. You don't ruin somebody's life just to make sure that your kid's okay on the off chance he might be a sexual predator. You can't justify shit like that. Okay? It's wrong. You are literally condemning a man before he's done anything wrong. Look, God forbid anything ever happened to your kids, okay? I love kids, and look, that'll be taken out of context too. Did you hear? Joe the Shirt loves kids, perf. But I love kids. I have a ton of nieces and nephews. I always love hanging out with my buddies' kids because I relate to them. We watch all the same TV shows. We read comic books. We play video games. And I'm not doing that shit to pander to them. I like playing video games. I like comic books, and I like watching Daredevil on TV. And the Arrow and the Flash and all that shit. So I relate to this stuff. And most adults I know don't relate to this type of stuff. So when I'm talking to a kid, I know that they get it. And better yet, they get me on some level. And it's nice to let them know that I know what they're talking about. Kids really love it when they talk to you and they can tell that you have a real interest in what it is they're talking about to you. Way too much of the time, a little kid will try to tell you something about something that's important to them, and you don't care because it doesn't interest you, so you blow it off. I'm the opposite way. If a kid wants to talk to me about comic books and video games, hell, I'm there. Let's talk. If you want to talk about cartoons, fuck yeah. Let's do it. Transformers, G.I. Joe, what do you got? He-Man, Thundercats, let's go. So yeah, it bugs me. Like I said, God forbid anything ever happened to anybody's kid out there. But I don't think it's fair that in order to protect your kids, in order to prevent these very few incidences of pervs out there that do stuff to kids, it's really rare. To be perfectly honest with you, it is decently rare. Yes, you watch the news, you watch the media, you go on the media and Facebook and all that, and the news and all these news reports, and it makes it sound like every kid's getting molested every 3 minutes. Your kid's getting molested right now in his room. He's by himself. There's nobody else in there, but he's getting molested somehow, So, but it's unfair that, the rest of us who are not child molesters, who do love kids in the platonic way, and who just enjoy, being around them and not in an inappropriate way, if I'm at the park, and some kid comes up to me and asks me a question about, I don't know, maybe I'm wearing my my Joker sneakers, which are pretty cool. And the kid asks, where'd you get those? And I'll let him know, oh, yeah, my girlfriend got them for me because she knows how much I love the Joker and I love comic books and all that kind of stuff. If that kid's parent sees me and comes up to me and says, excuse me, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, your kid asked me a question about my shoes. Now, if they go, well, do me a favor, I'd rather you not speak to my child. I don't want him to get into the practice of talking to strangers. I'd be like, sure, no problem. And I'd walk away, and that's fine. But, at the same time, I would let them know. You might want to then reinforce into your kid not to talk to strangers because he came to me. Okay, he was asking for it. Just saying. And see, before I go, let's see. I got one more thing I want to talk about. The whole to-do from Baltimore has been on everybody's brain for the last several weeks here, and I get it. It just seems like you can't turn on the TV or your computer or your phone or your tablet without seeing some story involving alleged police brutality. Wherein some minority is getting killed. It just seems impossible to turn on the news or anything else without seeing some incident where some minority is being killed by the police. Just brutally, the police are nothing but a bunch of bigots and racists, and they go around killing black people for sport day and night. And I got to tell you, nothing could really be further from the truth. in my humble opinion. I've been friends with police officers in my time. My buddy Jason, my buddy Ramon, Benny. We're talking about people that that have worked as police officers both in New York and Los Angeles, and they're both Latino, both Puerto Ricans. Okay, and they tell me that they really you just do not see this type of rampant racism and profiling that the media would like you to believe exists. And look, am I going to say that young black men aren't arrested more often than young white men? No, I'm going to say that per capita, per population, young black men do get arrested more often. They do go to prison more often per capita, by about as much as twice as much. On average, in the United States, per 100,000 blacks, roughly 2,500 or so, have been to jail. Okay, so if you are a group of 100,000 young black men, there's a good chance that about 2,500 of you, also known as 2.5% of you, will end up in jail at some point or another. Now, the question, though, remains, is that because the police are racist? Is that because the prosecutorial system is racist? The judicial system is racist? Or could it possibly be that within certain concentrated neighborhoods, they're just, black neighborhoods, there happens to be more crime? And people will tell you that, a lot of these young men, they don't have a choice but to turn to crime because, they're poor and they grew up without fathers, and they grew up without an education. And I'm telling you, I think that's absolutely horrible. But it doesn't excuse everything. That's a reason, not an excuse, to commit crime. Okay, I grew up in the Bronx, New York. I grew up without a father. My father ditched us before I was born. And I did not end up in a life of crime. I've never been to jail. I've never been to prison. Officially speaking, I've never been arrested. I've been in handcuffs before, but officially speaking, I've never been arrested. I don't have a record like that. I've been detained. I've been questioned. No arrest record. But that's also because I didn't commit any crimes. At least not the kind that you get arrested for, the big crime, like, assault, battery, armed robbery, murder, rape, grand theft auto, breaking and entering. Never committed any of those crimes. Really, my crimes, little petty larceny here and there. I used to like to shoplift. It's true. I used to love to go into stores and just steal shit. Nothing ever too expensive, but and sometimes, a lot of times, not even stuff I needed or even wanted. Many times I had money in my pocket. I just felt like stealing. That's all. But nothing dangerous. Nothing that was going to send me to jail forever. But and of course anybody can say, well, that's just exception that proves the rule. No, it's not. I'm not the exception. I lived in the Bronx, which has a very heavy black population. In case you didn't notice, I went to Theodore Roosevelt High School. Very heavy black population. I had a lot of black friends. I had a lot of Latino friends. I had some Asian friends. I had one white friend. One. I got exactly one. Robert. and anytime anybody in my school talked about the white guy, we all knew we were talking about Robert. Blue eyes, long blonde hair, always wore a heavy metal t-shirt. We all knew who we were talking about. When we said the white guy, we meant Robert. But the vast majority of the people that I knew in my neighborhood, which was a broken down, fucked up neighborhood, okay? Vast majority of the people I knew that I grew up with didn't end up in prison. Now, that's not to say I didn't know people that ended up in prison. Yeah, including family members of my own. But, that represented, a very small percentage of the people that lived and worked in the Bronx. And when you think about it, honestly, 2.5% of the population of blacks, per 100,000 have been to jail. Is that a big number? Not particularly, but it's a much bigger number to say if you're white. If you're white, the odds are that you were per 100,000. It's somewhere between 500 and 900 people, white men, have been to prison or done jail time. So it's a significantly lower number. But what you have to understand, though, is that while per population more blacks go to prison than whites, there are still way more whites in prison than there are blacks. Why? Because whites make up a majority of the population. Okay? So anyway, looking at this thing on Baltimore here, and a lot of people, this is the case about Freddie Gray, young man, I don't know how young he was actually, but a man that was arrested by Baltimore PD and sustained a neck injury en route to the jail, where they discovered that he had severed a vertebra. Now, whether or not it was police brutality, as a lot of people are alleging, or maybe it was that Freddie was, according to reports by both police and another inmate in the wagon that was transporting them to jail, Freddie was banging his head and thrashing about en route. He was by himself in a little cage in the van, and he was hurting himself. And is it possible that he's the one that caused this accident? Yes, it is. Is it possible that it was the officers in question that did it to him? Yes, it is, that they're investigating this. But my point here comes to, was it, even if it was the cops that did it, was it racist because he was black? And it's very easy to assume that it was. And then now I'm looking here at a picture of the 6 officers that are involved in Freddie Gray's death. I have, Caesar R. Goodman Jr., Garrett E. Miller, Edward M. Nero, William G. Porter, Brian W. Rice, and Alicia D. White. Now, in that same exact order, black, white, white, black, white, black, and female. So, am I to really understand that 3 black officers participated in the brutalization and murder of Freddie Gray based on the color of his skin? I find it hard to believe. Mind you, we're all familiar with the term "self-hating black." It's been known to happen. They're often referred to as Oreo cops. But do I believe that? Not necessarily. Do I believe that maybe as part of the fraternity of police officers, maybe they brutalized him because he was a perp and they were cops? That I can believe. Definitely a lot more likely than I'm going to believe that 3 black police officers joined 3 white police officers in brutalizing a black man simply for the reason that he was black. And then, of course, came the riots. The riots being so bad that not only did they use every police officer they had available to them, the National Guard was called in. The National Guard from other states were called in. Something along the lines of about 5,000 of them, come in and help control the violence that had spread out through Baltimore. It gotten so bad that a 10 o'clock curfew was put in place. If you were out in the streets after 10 o'clock, there was a good chance you were going to get arrested. And so bad, in fact, that the Baltimore Orioles game against the White Sox was still played a day or two later, but without fans. It's the first time I've ever heard anything quite like this, wherein they played a Major League Baseball game, but fans were not allowed in. The only people allowed in were players, stadium staff, and the press. And whoever, and team officials and personnel. And I don't know if the game was televised. I honestly wish it would have been. If it wasn't, I really wish it would be, because I would love to see it. Because I heard reports of reporters there, they're talking about how eerie it was, because people will get, a player would get a hit, and you could hear the crack of the bat over anything, and then you could hear the applause coming from the dugout. You could hear 20 guys like applauding, like woo, yeah, yeah. Which normally, if in a packed stadium, you could not hear, you could not make out that they were applauding, And that was pretty sad, I thought. And now I'm looking at I got a map here of Baltimore showing where the riots took place, where the most violence and looting and damage was caused. And true to form, the vast majority of the violence occurred in black neighborhoods. We have them see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 black dots indicating where a lot of this really bad stuff happened. Of these 29, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 10 of them, 12, 11, 12, 13, at least half of these occurred in strictly black neighborhoods. In mixed race neighborhoods, it happened, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 other places, leaving that the only true rioting that occurred within a white neighborhood occurred in one. And even that borders a racially divided neighborhood. So it never ceases to amaze me that when people riot, for whatever reason, death of Freddie Gray, or the Bulls won the championship. It's like people just go out and riot in their own neighborhoods. They go out and destroy their own fucking neighborhoods, and it's like we're pissed off. Let's burn down the CVS. We're fucking happy the Bulls win, or I know I'm talking about Baltimore, but I'm just saying Bulls. Bulls win, yay! Let's fuck up the neighborhood, burn down CVS. It doesn't make any sense to me. Look, I'm not saying that there isn't racial profiling among police officers. I'm not saying that some cops aren't racist, and I'm not saying even that some black police officers aren't racist against their own people. I'm sure it does, in fact, happen. But I have to believe that the vast majority of police officers don't feel that way and don't act that way and don't treat people that way. Because if that was the case, then, this would have been a lot worse a lot sooner than it is now. We would have had more incidents like back in the fucking 50s, when we saw some real racism in the police force, like city and state sanctioned racism, basically. Oh, my God. Sad. And now, leaving again with celebrity birthdays. Tomorrow's celebrity birthdays, because, well, I'm not going to be doing a show tomorrow. Probably not another one until Wednesday. So please tune in on Wednesday. Tomorrow's birthdays are, if you share your birthday on May 12th, you share it with the one and only Tony Hawk, skateboarder, 47 years old. Emilio Estevez turns 53. Jason Biggs of the American Pie movies turns 37. Baseball great Yogi Berra turns 90. Kim Fields from The Facts of Life turns 46 years old. Ving Rhames turns 56. Stephen Baldwin will be 49. And the one and only Burt Baccarat will turn 87 years old. Look at that. The hour just slips by. I meant to do a shorter show today, but there's so much I want to talk about. I just kept going. I thank you for listening, though. Taking us out one more time is Spit at Stars with their song Intro, which, yes, I'm playing at the end. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff.
Wow.